TV show title, Age of Navigation, Rise of the Great Nations, Episode 12. Summary. The 12th episode of CCTV's documentary series, Age of Navigation, Rise of the Great Nations, explores the era of exploration and the rise of powerful European maritime empires. The program delves into the motivations, historical contexts, key events, and protagonists that shaped this era, providing detailed examples and explanations to illustrate the complex relationship between exploration, trade, and empire building. Introduction. The Age of Navigation, also known as the Age of Exploration, spans the 15th to the early 17th century, a period of rapid expansion and exploration for European powers. This episode discusses the key events, advancements, and protagonists that shaped this era, transforming the world through the discovery of new lands, the exchange of cultures, and the establishment of influential maritime empires. Motivations and context. The documentary investigates the motivations driving European expeditions during this era. Key factors include the desire to find new sea routes to Asia, the quest for wealth and resources, the spread of Christianity, and competition among European nations for power and influence. The Age of Navigation was fueled by advances in navigation technology, such as the astrolabe and compass, shipbuilding, including caravels and galleons, and cartography, featuring portolan charts and later, the Mercator projection. Portugal's pioneering role. The episode emphasizes Portugal's pioneering role in the Age of Navigation, under the guidance of Prince Henry the Navigator. The Portuguese established a series of trade routes and colonies along the African coast, with notable stops at the Azores, Madeira, Cape Verde, and São Tomé and Príncipe. This exploration culminated in Bartholomew Dias's rounding of the Cape of Good Hope in 1488, marking the first European expedition to reach the Indian Ocean by sea and paving the way for further exploration and expansion. Portuguese explorer Pedro Álvares Cabral's accidental discovery of Brazil in 1500 further extended Portugal's influence, leading to the establishment of a vast colonial empire in South America. Vasco da Gama and the spice trade. The program focuses on Vasco da Gama's groundbreaking voyage to India in 1498, which established a direct sea route between Europe and Asia. The expedition opened lucrative trade routes for spices, like pepper, cinnamon, and cloves, which were highly prized in Europe. Da Gama's journey marked the beginning of Portugal's dominance in the Indian Ocean trade and led to the establishment of the Portuguese Empire, with key ports at Calicut, Goa, and Malacca. The Portuguese also gained control over the Moluccas, known as the Spice Islands, further solidifying their dominance in the spice trade. Christopher Columbus and the discovery of the New World. The episode delves into Christopher Columbus's voyages and the discovery of the New World. Columbus, an Italian explorer sailing under the Spanish flag, sought a westward route to Asia. In 1492, he reached the Americas, initially believing he had found a new route to the East Indies. The program explores the impact of Columbus's discovery on European exploration, as it ignited a race among nations to claim new lands and resources. For example, the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494 divided the newly discovered lands between Spain and Portugal, setting the stage for future conflicts. Amerigo Vespucci's explorations and the subsequent realization that Columbus had discovered a new continent led to the naming of America in his honor. This discovery further intensified European interest in exploration and colonization. The Spanish Empire and the Conquistadors. The program highlights the rise of the Spanish Empire, fueled by the conquests of the Americas. Conquistadors like Hernán Cortés, who conquered the Aztec Empire, and Francisco Pizarro, who led the conquest of the Inca Empire, played pivotal roles in the colonization of the Americas. The conquests brought enormous wealth and resources to Spain, such as gold, silver, and agricultural products like potatoes, tomatoes, and cacao, transforming it into a global superpower. The Spanish Empire would eventually span territories across the Americas, the Philippines, and parts of Europe and Africa. The documentary also touches on the Spanish missions in the Americas, which aimed to convert indigenous populations to Christianity. These missions had significant cultural impacts, often leading to the suppression of indigenous languages, traditions, and beliefs. The English and the Dutch enter the scene. The documentary examines the later entry of England and the Dutch Republic into the Age of Navigation. As the Spanish and Portuguese empires expanded, other European powers sought to challenge their dominance. English privateers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh targeted Spanish ships and territories, while the Dutch East India Company, VOC, established a powerful presence in the East Indies, focusing on the spice trade and founding colonies in the Americas, Africa, and Asia. Notable examples of Dutch and English colonial ventures include the establishment of New Amsterdam, later renamed New York, and the founding of the English colony of Jamestown in Virginia. These efforts marked the beginning of the English and Dutch colonial presence in the Americas and would shape the geopolitical landscape for centuries to come. The program also discusses the establishment of the Dutch West India Company, which expanded Dutch interests in the Atlantic, including the African slave trade and the colonization of territories in the Caribbean and South America. The slave trade and the triangle trade. The episode addresses the dark side of the Age of Navigation, the transatlantic slave trade. European powers established a triangular trade network among Europe, Africa, and the Americas, trading enslaved Africans for goods and resources. The program explores the devastating impact of the slave trade on African societies, including the forced migration of millions of people and the disruption of local economies and political structures. The program also discusses the roles played by various European nations in the slave trade, with Portugal, Spain, England, France, and the Netherlands all participating in this brutal practice. The slave trade would continue for centuries, with lasting consequences for the descendants of those enslaved in the societies they were taken from. The Columbian Exchange. The documentary discusses the Columbian Exchange, a widespread transfer of plants, animals, culture, human populations, technology, and ideas between the Americas, West Africa, and the Old World. The exchange had profound effects on societies, leading to the introduction of new foods, like corn and potatoes, which revolutionized agriculture and spurred population growth in Europe. However, it also brought diseases, such as smallpox and measles, which decimated native populations in the Americas. The program highlights several examples of the far-reaching impacts of the Columbian Exchange, including the migration of European honeybees to the Americas, the introduction of the horse to Native American cultures, the spread of European diseases to the Americas, and the diffusion of American crops like maize, potatoes, and tobacco to Europe and Asia. These exchanges altered ecosystems, economies, and social structures around the world, both positively and negatively. The end of the Age of Navigation and its legacy. The episode concludes by examining the end of the Age of Navigation and its lasting impact on the world. As the 17th century progressed, European powers began to shift their focus from exploration to colonization and empire building. The rise of global trade networks and the increased competition for resources would eventually set the stage for the conflicts and rivalries that characterized the next era of world history, the Age of Imperialism. Examples of the lasting legacy of the Age of Navigation include the establishment of global empires, the expansion of European languages and culture around the world, and the mixing of diverse populations, leading to the development of new ethnic identities and cultures. The exploration and colonization efforts also set the stage for the emergence of the United States and other modern nation-states in the Americas. Furthermore, the Age of Navigation significantly impacted the development of scientific thought, as explorers and naturalists encountered new plants, animals, and ecosystems. The information gathered during this period laid the foundation for the modern fields of biology, botany, zoology, and geography. The documentary series, Age of Navigation, Rise of the Great Nations, provides a comprehensive and engaging overview of the era that transformed the world, leading to the discovery of new lands, the exchange of cultures, and the establishment of powerful maritime empires. By examining the motivations, key figures, and events that shaped this period and offering detailed examples and explanations, Episode 12 offers a deeper understanding of the complex and intertwined histories of the nations that emerged as global powers during this time. In conclusion, Episode 12 of the Age of Navigation, Rise of the Great Nations documentary series delves into the motivations, historical context, key events, and protagonists that shaped the Age of Navigation. This comprehensive overview helps viewers understand the complex relationships between exploration, trade, and empire building during this transformative period. By providing detailed examples and explanations, the program offers a rich and engaging account of the era that changed the world, ultimately leading to the discovery of new lands, the exchange of cultures, and the rise of powerful maritime empires.